On January 6th, 2021, we saw what I will call the worst insurrection against our government in the United States of America in history. And when you look at the fact that we actually had a civil war, this is saying something. I don't need to get into the history on the day of what happened. And I'm doing this, 5 days afterwards. So if you're watching this anew, you know what happened. If you're watching this after a few years and you don't remember exactly, one, you're probably not American. And two, if you are, then you need to go check it out. But it was a horrible day. We had terrorists, American terrorists. They don't want to be called that. They were calling themselves patriot, but they were terrorists who broke into the United States Capitol building and basically, in their own way, went after Congress. They didn't care if they were senators or Democrats or whatever. One man was killed. Another one died later on because of the incident. There were 4 other people who died. And the person who resided in the White House, who I have not named in, 5 years? Ain't getting a name here either. Led the insurrection. I didn't even know everything that the man said until, basically 2 days ago, when I finally saw the video clip, and he egged them on, and he told them what to do. And here's the thing. We all know who he was. Probably one of the biggest narcissists in history. This is a guy who used to challenge Forbes magazine on a yearly basis when they kept saying, we don't think he's a billionaire, and they would leave him off the list, and he would call and complain, and he would threaten lawsuits because he wanted to be known as a billionaire. You know, if you're a real billionaire, they're not going to need hearing from you because they're going to list you. But still, he needed that because it was his ego that he needed stroked, and he wanted that validation. And when he won the presidency, I ain't gonna lie, I was not happy. I was depressed. I wasn't mad, I was depressed. I knew what was coming. A lot of New Yorkers knew what was coming. And it came. Because the guy's a narcissist. He needs people to feed his ego. He needs to be the one loved. He never takes the blame for anything. He's never taken the blame for anything. He's apologized once in the last 5 years. And that was after they had him on video, because I don't know if it's tape anymore, but they had him on video saying some nasty things about what should be done with women. Because that's what he was. So let's talk about this in a different way. Because you can look at 5 years of how people acted around him. People who said they supported him, or maybe some people actually did. But over the last, how many hours has it been? I don't know. 5 days. What's 5 days of 24? 120 hours or so. You have heard certain things that people have said that, even though they say they didn't justify what happened at the Capitol building, they have said certain things that lead you to believe that these are folks who now regret what they did. So that's what I'm actually going to talk about. It's not going to be overly long. I had to get that little bit of nonsense out of the way because I ain't been nothing but mad since last Wednesday. I'm just going to tell the truth. Anyway, if you have to deal with a narcissist leader, and we've had this before, by the way, he's not the first one. Steve Jobs, when he lost his job the first time, when he got booted out of the company he started, it's because he was a narcissist. And in that regard, he irritated so many people that they got rid of him. Then they brought him back because they didn't know how to run the company. So there you go. So it happens. It happens with a lot of despots. There's a lot of leaders around the world who have done and acted the exact same way. Some of them get away with it. Some of them don't. And those who get away with it, things never end well. So what I decided to do was talk about 3 ways that you should not deal with a narcissist leader. Whether you actually directly report to them or whether they run something else that you have an interest in, not necessarily that person, or even if you think, well, he's not so bad, we can work with this, and then later on you find out you can't, and you knew it all along, here's 3 ways that you don't deal with a narcissist leader. By the way, you can use this for all narcissists, but I talk about leadership, so here we go. The first one is don't feed the ego. So you can't go around just always kissing up to a narcissist. Why? Because they expect more. They expect you to keep doing it. Over the last 4 years, you kept hearing different reports on the down low from staffers and who else was working in the White House who were saying about this man where they just didn't know how to act around him. I mean, they were kissing up to him. He loved that. But you could tell when you've got that many people who work for you, that many people who got fired, by the way, way more than any other administration in history. When you've got that kind of thing going on, you know you've got a narcissist leader. And you can't just always flatter. Now, he expected it, so he fired a lot of people who he thought was disloyal. You know what? There's no way you can be loyal enough for a narcissistic leader. They just feed on it, and they get more. They want more. You just never get beyond it. Don't feed the ego. Number 2, don't use the narcissist for your own purposes. So, what has come out over the last 5 days? You have a lot of, I'll say, politicians who are in the same party that he's in, who came out and said, well, you know, we got this and this and this and this. We don't like what he just did. And some of them are even saying that he should resign or he should be censured, or even a few who have said he should be impeached. But you know what? They have led with, we got this, we got this, we got this. Because you manipulated him in your own way. You kissed his behind to the end. And you know what? He liked it. He liked it so much that you got what you wanted because he wanted your love. Now, when he didn't want what you wanted, then you backed down. And that's another thing that you have to deal with a narcissist leader. Yes, you're going to get what you want some of the times, but you're not going to get it all of the time. And you know better. But I know why you did it. Because you got a lot of other people out there who think that he's the king of the world, and you want their votes. You want them to like you. You can give up your own credibility, your own ethics for that. Don't use narcissists for your own purposes because it's going to come back on you. Ask Josh Hawley. I'm just saying. Ask Ted Cruz if you're in the mood. And here's number 3. Follow your heart. So you know what this guy is. You should know what other people who are narcissists are. You know that. And if you're good with it, fine. Do everything you need to. Work with those people. Because you just might get what you want. But, like I said, he fired a lot of people, but a lot of people left on their own. Because those were people who understood, you know what, this ain't working for me. I can't deal with this kind of behavior all the time. And sometimes you have to leave a job because the person in charge is a jerk, an idiot, a mean person, a micromanager, or a narcissist. You just have to do it. You have to call these things out if they're important enough. We've heard a lot over the last 5 days from people who worked in the area. That should say something. You didn't hear people saying that about Obama. They may not have agreed with everything that he did, but you didn't hear anybody say a bad thing about him personally if they had worked for him. That should tell you something. So, you know, this is easy. You can't work with those people. Me personally, I don't have those people in my life. Just not going to deal with it. And I've known a few. Matter of fact, I'm going to own up to this because I did videos where I talked about it. In fact, I did one on both of my channels where I talked about I'm not always a nice person. I made it my business. When I was an employee, not so much as a consultant, but when I was an employee, I made it my business to do what I could to crush narcissists if I encountered them. And all you got to do is make them look bad. They will look bad on their own. I hate to say that, but that was me. Because all you need is one narcissist in the organization to bring down everybody else. And if they were going to mess with what I was trying to get done, even though I wasn't the top dog, then I was going to make them show out. I was going to make them take a stand on something that no one else was going to agree with. It was easy, but that's what I did. I also did that at a wedding that I was going to sing at, where we had the dinner the night before, and this guy said something, and I said, oh, no. And I went after him in my own way. And my wife at the time told me later on, you shouldn't have done that to him in front of his wife and those other people. I said, he asked for it. I didn't start that. He said stuff. He irked me. He had to go down. Yeah, I'm not always so nice, but you know what? I don't deal with narcissists all that well. And you shouldn't either. But maybe it's just me. Let me know your thoughts on this. My name is Mitch Mitchell. I hope you have a better week than last week was for everybody. Y'all take care.